In the endless stretch of the Orion Arm, where thousands of stars burned like glittering dust, there was one small blue planet that every alien race knew by name: Earth. Humans came from there. They were known across the galaxy as peaceful traders, gentle healers, and builders of harmony. They helped weak worlds recover after wars, gave food to hungry colonies, and repaired damaged starships that even the great alien engineers couldn't fix. When humans entered a conflict zone, they came not with armies but with medicine, water, and open hands. Because of that, most alien species saw them as soft. Some even mocked them. To the Zelnar Empire, humans were talkers, not fighters. To the Tral Dominion, they were helpers who forgot how to roar. But to the Galactic Council, humans were something else, strange, unpredictable, and impossible to understand completely. At the Grand Council Hall on Orelon Prime, hundreds of alien representatives sat in their shining seats, voices echoing across the vast chamber. Floating holograms showed dozens of disputes across the stars. Border conflicts, trade arguments, resource fights. As always, the human delegation sat quietly in the corner, listening. The leader of the human group, Ambassador Mira Voss, was calm, polite, and humble. Her uniform had no medals. Her eyes looked tired but kind. When she spoke, her voice was steady and soft. Peace is not weakness, she told the council. It is the hardest choice a species can make. But few listened. After the meeting ended, a young alien diplomat named Thalrin of the Kashari walked beside her. Thalrin was curious by nature, a researcher from a proud warrior race with silver skin and 4 golden eyes. His people believed strength was everything. Yet there was something about humans that confused him. He had seen human aid ships travel into war zones where no other species dared to go. He had watched humans risk their lives to rescue alien children from burning colonies. And every time they smiled and said, "It's what we do." But why? Why did they never fight? Why did they never show their real power, if they even had any? Ambassador Voss, Thalrin said as they walked down the shining corridor. I do not understand your people, Mira smiled gently. That makes 2 of us, Thalrin. You help everyone, he said, even those who mock you. You never demand respect. Do humans truly have no pride? Her eyes softened. We have pride, she said. But pride without mercy turns into cruelty. We've learned that lesson long ago. Thalrin tilted his head. What lesson? But Mira only smiled again and said, Some stories are not ready to be told. That answer didn't satisfy him. For weeks, Thalrin studied everything about humans, their culture, their history, their wars. But most of their ancient records were sealed behind layers of digital locks. The Council's archives said it was for peace and stability. Strange. The more Thalrin searched, the more questions he found. Why did every early record of human warfare suddenly stop 400 years ago? Why did human fleets never show their full size? Why did so many alien threats disappear quietly after meeting peaceful humans? There were whispers too. Old spacers told stories of human fleets that appeared out of nowhere, ending wars in hours. Of mysterious symbols left on dead warships. A simple white handprint burned into steel. No one believed these tales. They were called ghost stories of the void. But Thalrin's curiosity was stronger than fear. One evening, in his small quarters aboard the Council orbital station, Thalrin accessed a hidden communication channel. His friend from the Research Guild had given him a fragment of old human data, labeled Project Aegis, Restricted. The file was ancient. The date was older than any recorded Council event. His translator struggled to read it. He pressed play. The screen flickered. For a moment there was only static. Then a voice, cold, human, and calm. Operation Dawnfire. Planetary threat neutralized. Civilian casualties 0. Enemy species eradicated. Thalrin froze. The video continued. Flashes of light. Ships the size of cities and a human soldier standing on a battlefield of glass and dust. His face was emotionless. His armor bore a strange mark. A mask broken in half. The transmission ended. Thalrin sat in silence, his heart's pounding. This was not the human kindness he knew. This was something else, or something ancient and terrifying, he whispered. What did they do? The next morning he went to speak with Ambassador Mira again. She stood on the viewing deck looking out toward the blue planet Earth far below. Thalrin stepped beside her. I saw something, he said quietly. Old human footage. Project Aegis, I want to understand. Mira didn't turn. You've been digging where you shouldn't, Thalrin. Why hide it? He demanded softly. Why pretend weakness? Finally, she looked at him. Her eyes were not angry, and they were sad. Because the galaxy is not ready for what we were, she said. And maybe not ready for what we still are. Thalrin's voice trembled. You mean... The stories are true? Mira sighed. Once long ago, humans fought a war that almost destroyed everything, even ourselves. We decided then that power without compassion is the true enemy, so we built peace-like armor. We wear it every day. She placed a hand on the window looking at the stars. But sometimes, she added softly, the galaxy mistakes kindness for weakness. That's when masks begin to crack. Later, Thalrin stood in the great observation dome watching the stars. He could not stop thinking about her words. Peace-like armor. Mask beginning to crack. He thought about how his own people saw human as harmless helpers. What if that was the greatest misunderstanding in history? His communicator beeped. A report from his homeworld arrived. A new power was rising beyond the council borders. The Varkon Dominion, a militaristic empire consuming smaller systems. Their leader, Emperor Koresh, had declared that humans were the soft underbelly of the galaxy and promised to tear the false peace apart. Thalrin stared at the message in silence. He remembered the cold voice in the old video. Enemy species eradicated. A chill ran through him. If the Dominion attacked humans thinking they were weak, what would happen then? That night, across the stars, humans continued their quiet work, helping, building, smiling. But on the hidden edges of space, something moved. Deep under Earth's oceans, a network of sleeping satellites awoke. In the cold dark between planets, invisible ships drifted out of hiding, silent and unseen. On Mars, deep beneath the red sands, ancient weapons began to hum softly, like hearts remembering how to beat. Humanity did not want war. They never wanted anyone to fear them. But they remembered. And when the time came, the galaxy would remember too. Thalrin looked once more toward the blue world of Earth. He whispered to himself, maybe peace is not a mask at all. Maybe it is their warning. But even he could not imagine how true those words would soon become. Because when humans finally dropped their masks, the galaxies would tremble. The galaxy was changing. Rumors of war whispered through the trade routes and council channels. The Varkon Dominion, an expanding military empire, had started seizing small worlds on the outer rim. They claimed it was liberation, but everyone knew it was conquest. While fear spread, one question moved quietly between worlds. Would the humans fight? The answer was never clear. Humans continued their calm routine, sending relief ships, healing wounded worlds, and speaking of peace. Their leaders stayed silent. No war declarations, no threats, no armies on parade. To the proud warriors of the galaxy, it looked like weakness. But to a few like Thalrin, it looked like something else. Patience. Thalrin had not slept well since he saw the forbidden human file. The voice from Project Aegis still echoed in his mind. Enemy species. Eradicated. Those words carried no hatred, no anger, only duty. That scared him more than any weapon ever could. He wanted to understand the truth behind that voice. So he went deeper. Inside the massive council archive tower, there were levels closed to most species. Ancient records, sealed by agreement of all major powers. But Thalrin had clearance, not full access, but enough to sneak close. He used the night shift when the lights were dim and drones floated silently through corridors. He moved carefully, using his researcher's codes to open each layer of security. Finally, he reached a door marked with human symbols. Aegis Protocol, Level 7, restricted by Terran command. A mechanical voice asked, "Authorization?" Thalrin hesitated. He whispered a code his human friend once mentioned, something about Earth's old myths. Prometheus. The system paused, then opened. Inside was a single holographic terminal glowing blue. Thousands of files floated around him, data logs, mission reports, visuals from centuries ago. He opened one. A human soldier appeared wearing an armor unlike anything used today, black and silver, covered with a half-mask emblem. His voice was calm. Aegis Unit 9 reporting. Planet Sarin 4 secured, hostile bioforms neutralized, remaining population evacuated. Power grid restored. Thalrin blinked. It sounded like a rescue report, until he checked the attached data. The hostile bioforms were a species listed as extinct. He opened another. Aegis Command. Operation Endlight complete. Galactic aggressor race eliminated. Council formation to follow. Another. Human fleet deployed. Civilizations preserved. 17. Lost. 1. Total enemy forces. Erased. Every file said the same thing. Humans had fought a war across the galaxy before the Council even existed. They had destroyed multiple ancient war empires, saved dozens of peaceful species, and then hidden it all. Thalrin stood frozen. His heart pounded fast. The calm, smiling race everyone saw as gentle had once been the most feared force in history. Suddenly, the terminal spoke again. Unauthorized access detected. The blue light turned red. Security drones dropped from the ceiling. Thalrin panicked and pulled out a data crystal. He copied as much as he could, then ran. Lasers flashed behind him as he dove through a side door and rolled into a maintenance shaft. He crawled for what felt like hours until he finally reached the station's docking bay. Breathing hard, he looked at the crystal glowing in his hand. He whispered, "I saw it. The truth." He knew now that humans were not weak. They were restrained. They wore peace like a shield, hiding something too dangerous for the galaxy to see. Thalrin couldn't keep the secret alone. He decided to tell someone who could understand. Someone human. He found Ambassador Mira Voss again on the observation deck, just as before. She stood quietly watching the blue light of Earth through the glass. "Mira," he said softly, "I found your history." She didn't look surprised. She only sighed. "I warned you not to dig too deep." "You fought a galactic war," he said. "You destroyed entire empires. Why hide it? The galaxy should honor you, not mock you." Her expression was calm, but her eyes looked tired. "Honor is a dangerous thing," she said. "When the galaxy fears you, it never lets you rest." "We wanted peace, Thalrin, not worship, not fear. But what if war returns?" he asked. "The Dominion is rising again. They will come for you next." Mira nodded slowly. "Then we'll remind them why peace with humans is better than war." In the days that followed, Thalrin watched the news. The Varkon Dominion had advanced closer to Council space. They attacked colonies belonging to the Kishari, Thalrin's people. They also began sending fleets near human sectors, testing, probing. Humanity didn't respond. They simply evacuated nearby settlements, brought refugees to safety, and said nothing. The galaxy waited for humans to react. Some thought they were afraid. Others thought they were wise. Thalrin knew they were waiting, like a lion lying in tall grass. Soon a secret council meeting was called. Representatives from the main powers gathered: Zelnar, Tiral, Kishari, and humans. The hall was tense. The Dominion had issued a message. "Earth is next. Your peace ends now." Panic spread among the delegates. Many demanded humans withdraw from the front lines, saying it was too dangerous. But Mira stood calmly and spoke in her quiet voice. "Earth will stand," she said. "We ask no one to fight for us. We only ask you to stay out of our way." Her words shocked everyone. Even Thalrin stared in disbelief. The Zelnar ambassador shouted, "You cannot face the Dominion alone. They have hundreds of fleets." Mira smiled faintly. "Then it will be a fair fight." After the meeting, Thalrin followed her again. "You mean to fight?" "Not yet," she said. "We still hope they will stop, but if they don't..." She looked at the stars, her voice soft. "Then we take off the mask." Thalrin shivered at the phrase. "Mask?" Mira nodded. "Every race hides something. Some hide fear, some hide greed. We hide what we can do when pushed too far." 3 weeks later, the Dominion attacked. Their armada entered the Sol sector, the space around Earth. Hundreds of warships darkened the skies. The galaxy watched the live feed from distant probes. The Dominion commander Koresh broadcast his message. Humans, your false peace ends today. Kneel or burn. No reply came from Earth. The planet remained silent. For a moment it seemed like nothing would happen. Dominion ships moved closer, charging their weapons. Then the stars flickered. From behind the moon, shadows moved, not one but hundreds. Massive ships, invisible until now, appeared with white markings like broken masks. The human fleet. Every alien watching felt the same chill. The peaceful. Humans had fleets the size of empires, hidden, silent, waiting. Koresh tried to speak again, but the signal broke. His ships vanished from sensors one by one. There was no explosion, no debris, only silence. After 7 minutes, the feed returned. The Dominion armada was gone. The space around Earth was empty. And then, a short human message echoed across the Council network. Mask off. Across the galaxy, fear and awe spread together. Some called it a miracle. Others called it a warning. Thalrin sat in his quarters, staring at the transmission. He remembered what Mira had said. We hide what we can do when pushed too far. He finally understood the meaning of peace through strength. Humans were not pretending to be gentle. They were choosing to be gentle, because the other choice was something no one wanted to see again. Later, he met Mira one last time. She looked tired but calm. The Dominion? He asked quietly. Gone, she replied. We don't celebrate it. We never do. Thalrin lowered his head. Now the galaxy will fear you. She smiled sadly. Let them. Fear keeps them safe. He watched her walk away, her footsteps soft against the metal floor. For the first time, Thalrin felt the full weight of human mercy. Heavy, deliberate, and terrifying in its calmness. That night, he wrote a private note in his journal. Humans wear peace like a mask, not to hide weakness, but to protect us all from their strength. The galaxy should pray that mask never falls again. The galaxy was silent for 3 days. No one spoke on the open channels. No one sent new transmissions. Even the busiest trade routes seemed empty. The reason was simple. The Varkon Dominion had vanished. Their mighty fleets, their colonies, their broadcast stations, all gone. It was as if a shadow had swallowed them whole. All that remained were whispers. And at the center of every whisper was one word: humans. On the Council homeworld, Orlan Prime, emergency meetings filled the air. Representatives from 100 species argued inside the vast silver hall. Their holographic translators flickered as their voices overlapped. They destroyed them, shouted the Zelnar delegate. The humans wiped out an empire overnight. They saved us from invasion, replied a soft-voiced healer from the Lyri species. The Dominion would have burned half the galaxy. Saved? Another shouted. Or showed us what they truly are. At the edge of the room, Ambassador Mira Voss stood in silence. Her face was calm, but her eyes carried exhaustion, the kind that came from making hard choices. When the noise grew too loud, she finally spoke. Peace, she said quietly, yet the entire hall fell silent. Her voice carried calm authority, the same tone used by a teacher addressing restless students. We did not attack. We defended. The Dominion chose destruction. We chose survival. The Troll delegate growled. And yet they are gone. You call that defense? Mira met his gaze. You would prefer they had reached your worlds instead? No one answered. After the session ended, Thalrin found her in the corridor. He had not seen her since the attack. His mind was full of questions. He bowed slightly. Mira, I saw the council report. The Dominion, their systems are silent. What really happened? She looked at him for a long time. You want the truth? Euryshes, he said firmly. She turned and began walking toward the viewport overlooking the stars. Then come with me. You should see something. An hour later, Thalrin stood aboard a small human transport vessel heading toward a quiet system near the edge of known space. The ship's crew didn't talk much. Their uniforms bore the same symbol Thalrin had seen before, the broken mask. When the ship exited hyperspace, he saw what looked like floating dust. But it wasn't dust. It was debris. Thousands of fragments drifted in silence, glowing faintly in the light of a nearby star. When the scanners identified the remains, Thalrin froze. Varkon hull materials, the computer said. They weren't destroyed by weapons, Mira said softly. Their ships folded in on themselves. A controlled implosion. We disabled their energy cores remotely, Thalrin stared. That kind of control is impossible. For most species, she replied, yes. But we learned long ago how to end wars without fire. She watched the wreckage for a moment before adding, we didn't want them dead. We only wanted them gone. When they returned to Orelon, the galaxy had already started reacting. Some worlds were celebrating. Others were terrified. Every news network talked about the hidden power of Earth. Some called them heroes. Others called them monsters. Trade alliances began to shift. Minor species requested human protection. Old enemies suddenly offered peace in a single week. The balance of the galaxy changed, not through diplomacy, not through money, but through fear. Meanwhile, deep inside a Dominion ruin far beyond the Council's reach, something survived. A single man, General Koresh, the commander who led the attack on Earth. He stood among shattered control panels and flickering flames. His armor cracked, his pride broken but alive. When his ship's AI reactivated, he demanded, what happened? The machine replied coldly, Dominion fleet neutralized by human interference. 99.8% loss. Koresh clenched his fists. Humans. They pretend to be gentle, but they are demons of war. He looked out the ruined window toward the stars. If I can't defeat them with fleets, I'll find another way. His eyes glowed red as he accessed a hidden storage core. Inside was something forbidden, a weapon older than the Dominion itself. Its name, the Rift Spear, he whispered. If humans want peace, let's see how they face despair. Back on the Council world, Thalrin gave his report. The humans neutralized the Dominion without causing planetary damage, he said. No radiation, no mass destruction, only precision strikes. The Council members looked uncertain. This kind of power is unnatural, one said. Unnatural? Thalrin repeated. Or simply human. He could feel the tension in the room. Everyone feared the same thing. What if humanity decided to stop being peaceful? When the session ended, Mira thanked him for his fair words. You understand better than most, she said. Thalrin smiled faintly. I understand one thing. Peace is your weapon. She nodded. And fear is the price. Days passed. Human ships returned to trade routes. They brought food, aid, and medicine to the worlds the Dominion had once ruled. To the public, they looked the same. Gentle, helpful, calm. But now everyone watched them differently. When a human ship entered orbit, even warlords offered them respect. Children whispered about the masked ones. Merchants called them keepers of silence, and soldiers prayed never to see them angry again. Yet humanity continued, as always, smiling, repairing, rebuilding. Only a few, like Thalrin, noticed the quiet sadness behind those smiles. One night, as Thalrin walked along the upper decks of the station, he saw Mira alone, staring at the stars again. He joined her. You saved billions, Mira. Why do you look so sad? She didn't answer for a long time. Then she said, because every time we remove the mask, we lose a little of what makes us human. Thalrin frowned. But you had no choice, she nodded. Yes, but mercy feels heavy when it costs you peace. Far away in the dark reaches of the Varkon ruins, Koresh continued his plan. The Rift Spear was a device of impossible energy, something that could twist reality itself. It was said to open cracks in space, swallowing entire worlds. Koresh believed if he could unleash it near Earth, he could destroy the humans not with war but with fear, the same fear they gave him. He spent months rebuilding his forces in secret, gathering broken machines and desperate survivors. He called them the New Dominion. Meanwhile, Thalrin sent a private report to the Council Security Office. He wrote, the humans are peaceful because they must be. Their power is too great. They fight only when pushed to the edge. But if another war begins, if someone threatens their home, then none of us will be ready for what comes next. He didn't know that at that very moment. Koresh's fleet was already forming. When Mira received the same intelligence warning, she felt a familiar weight in her chest. She looked out the window again, watching Earth far below, glowing blue and calm. "History repeats," she whispered, "and we never learn." She sent a short coded message across human networks. "Aegis Protocol, stand by." Across the solar system, hidden systems began to hum once again. Back on his homeworld, Thalrin met with his mentor, an older Kishari general. "You've spent too much time with humans," the general said. "You trust them too much." Thalrin shook his head. "I don't trust them blindly. I respect them." "Respect?" The general's golden eyes narrowed. "You should fear them." Thalrin smiled faintly. "Maybe fear and respect are not so different." 2 weeks later, the first sign of Koresh's return appeared. A small star near the edge of human space suddenly collapsed, not from natural cause, but from a controlled energy burst. Scouts detected strange readings, the same signature as the Dominion weapon cores, but magnified 1,000 times. Mira received the report in silence. "Koresh," she said quietly. Thalrin stood beside her. "You think he survived?" "Humans don't believe in miracles," she said. "But we know monsters often do." Outside the window, Earth's moon glowed softly. Human cities shone like tiny stars on the surface. But beneath that peace, the hum of ancient machines grew louder. Humanity didn't want another war, but Koresh's return would force them to choose again, mercy or survival. And this time, the whole galaxy would watch. Thalrin closed his eyes and whispered, "The Dominion made one mistake. They thought the mask was weakness. They never realized it was control." He looked at Mira, who still stood calm as ever. "What will you do when he returns?" Her answer was simple, quiet, and final. "When the time comes," she said, "we'll drop the mask again." The galaxy had gone silent. After the sudden end of the Varkon Dominion, no one dared to challenge or even question the humans. Their fleets had vanished into the stars as quickly as they had appeared. No one knew how the battle ended. No witnesses survived, no signals were recorded, only a single human message. "Mask off." The word spread like a storm through every world, every council, every species. Some called it a warning. Others said it was a promise. The truth was unknown, but fear had replaced curiosity in many hearts. On the shining world of Arendor, where the Galactic Council met, the air was heavy with tension. The grand chamber, built of silver and crystal, now felt cold and small. Representatives from hundreds of species whispered among themselves, glancing often toward the empty human seat. The flag of Earth still hung there, bright blue and white, but no human had come since the last war ended. Ambassador Thalrin of the Zyral people sat quietly in his chair. He had seen the power humans hid beneath their calm faces. He had seen what they could do when pushed too far. But more than that, he had seen the sadness in their eyes afterward. They did not celebrate their victories. They mourned them. When the meeting began, the Supreme Chancellor, a tall, golden-feathered avian, spoke loudly. "The humans must be brought before this council. We cannot allow such power to go unchecked. They destroyed an entire empire without warning," a voice from the shadows replied. "And yet the Dominion started the war. The humans ended it. It was Ambassador Kale from the ocean world of Relath. Would you rather the Dominion still rule the Outer Rim?" The chamber filled with arguments and accusations. Some demanded that humanity reveal their weapons. Others said the galaxy owed them thanks. Thalrin listened in silence. He knew the truth lay between those two extremes. Finally, he stood. His soft green eyes scanned the hall. "My friends," he said calmly, "we are afraid not because humans are cruel, but because they are kind. We do not understand a species that hides its power to protect others." The chamber went silent. Even the avian chancellor looked down, uncertain how to respond. Thalrin continued, "They wear masks not to deceive us, but to keep us safe. From themselves." When the meeting ended, Thalrin made a decision. He would go to Earth himself. The journey to Sol was quiet. As his ship approached the blue world, he expected to see war machines or fleets patrolling the skies. Instead, he saw peace. Green fields covered the continents. Cities shone like clean jewels beside oceans. No military parades, no weapons. Just people walking, laughing, rebuilding. He landed in a small port near the city of Geneva. The air was cool and smelled of rain. A young woman met him there, Captain Mira Voss, the same human who had spoken to him during the crisis months ago. She wore a simple gray uniform, nothing fancy. Her eyes were sharp but gentle. "Ambassador Thalrin," she greeted. You came a long way. I came to understand, Thalrin replied. The galaxy is frightened. They think your people hide something terrible, Mira smiled faintly. They are not wrong. But it's not what they think. She led him through the city. There were children planting trees, workers fixing homes, artists painting walls with bright colors. Thalrin watched in wonder. There were no soldiers in sight. You rebuilt this quickly, he said. We had help, Mira answered. Otherworld sent food, medicine, and engineers. We didn't destroy the Dominion to rule. We destroyed it to stop pain. They walked beside a river where people were feeding birds. Thalrin saw no fear in their faces, no pride, just peace. It felt strange. Then why hide your strength? He asked softly. Mira stopped walking. She looked up at the cloudy sky. Because power is a burden, she said. We learned long ago that power without control destroys everything. So we decided to wear masks of peace. It keeps us honest, Thalrin nodded slowly. He felt something deep in his heart, respect and maybe guilt. The galaxy does not see it that way, he said. They see only danger. That's all right, Mira said gently. We don't need them to love us. We just want them to be safe. Days passed and Thalrin stayed on Earth studying their ways. He visited schools where humans taught alien languages. He saw doctors treating alien refugees from the Dominion Wars. He even saw children playing with robotic pets that spoke multiple species dialects. Humans were strange, yes, but also amazing. They were builders and dreamers more than fighters, and yet Thalrin sensed something deep and hidden in them, a kind of quiet readiness, like a sword that sleeps in a scabbard. One evening, while watching the sunset, Thalrin received an urgent message from the Council. It carried grim news. A Dominion general had survived. His name was Karish. He blamed the humans for the fall of his empire. Now he had stolen an ancient weapon, a device that could tear a planet apart, and he was coming for Earth. Thalrin rushed to Mira's command center. She was already there, calm and focused as always. Holographic maps filled the room. We expected something like this, Mira said. Karish is dangerous but desperate. Thalrin looked at her with worry. Can you stop him? We will try. But not with the weapons you fear. She turned to her officers. Send evacuation ships to the outer colonies. Make sure civilians are safe. Prepare the defense grid, but do not attack first. Her tone was steady like water flowing over stone. Thalrin couldn't help but ask, why not strike first? If he is coming to destroy you. Because that is what he wants, Mira interrupted gently. He wants us to become monsters again. We won't give him that victory. Thalrin realized then that humanity's true strength was not in weapons but in restraint. They could burn the stars if they wanted, but they chose patience instead. That night, Thalrin walked through the silent city. People were still calm. They trusted their leaders. They trusted each other. Children slept peacefully under the glowing moon, even as a threat approached from the depths of space. He looked up at the stars and whispered to himself, maybe this is why galaxies tremble. Not because humans destroy, but because they endure. In the following days, more reports came. Karesh's ship entered the Sol system, carrying the stolen weapon. It was said to be powered by ancient technology that could bend space itself. The Council panicked again, sending warnings and pleas, but Earth did not respond. Instead, Mira sent only one short message to the Council. Stay out of Sol. This is our burden to face. Thalrin stayed on Earth as the world prepared. He saw no fear, only quiet determination. People repaired their homes, tended gardens, wrote messages of hope on walls. They lived normally, even while danger approached. That was their courage. In orbit, human ships began to appear. Not massive warships, but sleek, silent vessels that shimmered and vanished like shadows. They were ready but unseen. Thalrin knew something big was coming. He could feel it in the air, in the hearts of everyone around him. Humanity had put its mask back on, but beneath it power waited, patient and cold. As the final night before the battle came, Thalrin stood beside Mira on the observation deck. The stars above were bright and one of them was moving fast, the ship of Karesh. Tomorrow, Mira said softly, the galaxy will learn again what happens when humans drop their masks. Thalrin looked at her, his voice quiet. And when it's over? Mira's eyes stayed on the stars. Then we'll put the mask back on, because that's what we do. The night sky shimmered with distant light as Karesh's ship drew near, like a storm waiting to break. And in that calm before the storm, Thalrin finally understood humanity's greatest secret. Their peace was not a weakness. It was a choice, a promise, a silent strength that held the stars together. The silence of space was broken by a faint hum. Far beyond the orbit of Mars, a dark shadow moved, Koresh's ship. It was massive, black as void, and bristling with strange energy. Sensors detected a weapon unlike any ever seen. The Rift Spear, a device capable of twisting space itself. One misstep could collapse entire planets into nothingness. On Earth, Ambassador Mira Voss stood in the command center, calm as ever. Holographic displays filled the room with warnings, trajectories, and fleet positions. Outside the window, Earth glowed peacefully, unaware of the danger approaching. "Koresh is coming," Thalrin said, standing beside her. His green eyes reflected the blue of the planet below. "Can humanity stop him?" Mira's gaze did not waver. "We never wanted war. But if he forces it, then we must show what the galaxy has never seen." In orbit, the human fleet emerged quietly from hidden positions. Ships of every size and design shimmered into view, their hulls marked with the familiar broken mask symbol. They were powerful but silent, a phantom armada waiting for the right moment. Not one weapon fired, not a single engine roared. Thalrin watched in awe. "They hide this all the time?" he whispered. "They hide everything," Mira replied, "because we do not seek to frighten others, only to survive and to protect life." Koresh's ship appeared on the horizon and his voice boomed through open channels. "Humans of Earth, you will pay for what you did to the Dominion. Surrender or face annihilation." No answer came. The first energy pulse from the Rift Spear lit up the void. It tore a small section of space apart, sending stars and dust scattering. Alarm systems blared across the galaxy. Alien observers gasped, thinking this was the end of Earth. But the humans did not panic. They moved with precision. Small drones from their fleet approached Koresh's weapon systems, infiltrating shields, scanning energy cores, and sending back information in real time. Every movement was coordinated, almost invisible, like the beat of a giant silent heart. Mira gave calm orders. "Do not fire unless necessary. Keep civilians safe. Neutralize him without causing destruction." Thalrin swallowed. He had watched battles before, but nothing like this. Humans did not attack to destroy, they attacked to protect. Koresh's first mistake became clear. He underestimated the humans' restraint. While his weapon tore at space, the human fleet approached from angles no sensors could detect. In moments, Koresh's shields flickered. His weapon systems misfired as humans disabled key controls remotely. From Earth, the Council watched in shock as their warnings failed. Entire fleets had arrived too late. Koresh, the supposedly invincible general, was now struggling against a species they had always considered harmless. Inside the command bridge of Koresh's ship, alarms screamed, lights flashed red, and his crew panicked. "Commander," one officer shouted, "systems are failing." Koresh's hands clenched the console. "Impossible. They should be weak. They should beg for mercy." But mercy was not weakness. It was precision. Every human move was calculated to protect life, yet neutralize threat. Thalrin watched the battle unfold on his portable screen. He could see the Rift Spear flicker, misfire, and finally collapse inward. Koresh's ship trembled, and without warning, the superweapon imploded in a controlled collapse. Space twisted around it, creating a glowing rift that sealed itself in an instant. Silence returned. When the light faded, Koresh's ship was gone. Not a trace remained. No planets were harmed. No colonies destroyed. The humans had protected life and defeated the most dangerous weapon the galaxy had seen, without firing a single destructive missile. Thalrin breathed deeply. They did it," he whispered. "Without killing, without conquering." Mira turned to him. "That is what humans do. We fight only to protect what matters. We do not fight for power, only for life." The Council received a single message from Earth. "We did not start this, but we will end anything that threatens life. The galaxy is safe. For now." Every world paused. The words carried weight. They were calm but absolute, like a promise backed by power the universe could not deny. Thalrin wrote quickly in his journal, "Humanity's greatest strength is not their fleet, or their weapons, or even their strategy. It is restraint. The galaxy cannot imagine how strong mercy can be. On Earth, life returned to normal, Children played in parks, teachers taught in schools, engineers repaired cities, and doctors healed the sick. It was as if nothing had happened, but the humans remembered. They had seen what power could do, and how easily it could be misused. Their victory was quiet, without glory, without celebration. Thalrin walked through the streets alongside Mira. He saw ordinary humans laughing, planting trees, caring for each other. Yet beneath their calm faces, he felt the readiness of a species capable of unimaginable things. "You call this normal?" he asked. Mira smiled faintly. "Yes, this is normal. Ordinary life is the reward for restraint. We show power only when we must. Otherwise, we live like everyone else." Thalrin nodded slowly. He understood now. Humans were not reckless. They were careful. They could destroy, but they chose not to. That choice made them dangerous, respected, and admirable all at once. In the following weeks, rumors spread across the galaxy. Some worlds whispered that humans possessed ancient weapons. Others claimed they had fleets invisible to sensors. Children told stories of humans who could appear anywhere in space in an instant. The galaxy learned a difficult lesson. Kindness was not weakness. Patience was not cowardice. Humanity's quiet power was a warning. Thalrin recorded in his journal once more. When humans drop their masks, galaxies do not merely tremble. They learn humility, mercy, and courage in ways no other species can teach, and they do it without hatred or vengeance. Koresh's threat had ended, but his shadow lingered. The Council realized that from now on, humans could not be treated like any other race. Every empire, every species, every ruler understood that restraint could hide power beyond imagination. Fear and respect became intertwined, but humans did not seek dominance. They sought only life, only peace. And in doing so, they had taught the galaxy a lesson it would not soon forget. Thalrin stood at the observation deck one final time, watching Earth's blue oceans and green continents. Mira joined him. "Will the galaxy ever understand?" he asked quietly. Mira looked at the stars. "Some will, some won't, but it doesn't matter. We do not act for recognition. We act because it is right." Thalrin smiled. He had spent years searching for humanity's secret, and now he understood. Humans were not the fragile, gentle species everyone thought. They were the quiet guardians of life, hidden behind the mask of peace, waiting only for the moment when they must act. And when that moment came, the universe would tremble. As night fell across Earth, the stars shone like silver mirrors. Humanity slept, ordinary, simple, unaware of the awe they inspired across the galaxy. But deep beneath oceans, inside mountains, and beyond orbit, silent systems hummed. Hidden fleets waited. Ancient technologies rested. Humanity was ready for any threat, but chose patience and mercy. The galaxy had seen only a glimpse, and that glimpse had changed everything. For the first time, every species knew. Humanity's mask was not a disguise. It was a choice, and when the mask falls again, the galaxies will not forget.